Hey everybody, welcome back to the Game Store Guy podcast. This is episode 265. I'm your host, Kevin, CC Game CEO. So, it's been a busy couple weeks. I was hoping to have this podcast recorded before now, but sometimes life throws you curveballs. My dog had injured himself, and I'm not sure how. He woke up one morning, and he was just not himself. Moving kind of slow, had his head kind of down. We still went for a walk. I was hoping that would snap him out of it. No luck. Throughout the day, he kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where when he woke up the next morning, he couldn't move. He was paralyzed, basically from the neck down. None of his feet were working. It was quite sad. I had assumed that that was going to be the last day. He is 11 years old. He's part Dachshund, part Pomeranian. So he's basically like a little hairy wiener dog. And wiener dogs do generally, they say 1/4 of them get back problems. And he did about a year ago. He had a back problem, and he pulled through with some steroids. It was nowhere near to this level. We rushed him to the doctor, who they in turn sent us to a neurologist that was about 2 hours away. So we had to drive him to outside of Cleveland to a neurologist in Akron, Ohio. And then we had to decide whether or not we were going to do an MRI on him. And the MRI is $3,500. So he's an older dog. 11 is not too old, but I guess I really could never. One, I love him to death. He's my little best friend. Two, I don't think I could look in my kid's eyes and say I didn't try everything to save him. So we did the MRI, knowing that if it came back with certain things, that he might have to go right into surgery right after that, which would be another $3,000. So we're looking at about about $6,000 to $7,000 to fix him. But also the MRI could explain a few other things. So there were 3 options on the table. Actually 4. One, he had this thing called IVDD, which is basically kind of like a slip disc in your back, and it wasn't that. The other option was that it could have been a stroke. Could have had a stroke. Not a stroke. So they ruled out that. Or third option was cancer. Didn't have that either. And basically he had a little disc that some of the liquid had ruptured out of. So a ruptured disc. I don't know what it's called exactly in dogs, but you can either have surgery or you can give them steroids. And they said the outcomes are about the same. So we went with steroids since he's an older dog. That way you didn't have to have surgery. You don't have an invasive surgery. Said the odds were about the same either way. And so far it's been, I think we're on the 4th day here. And he's walking, and he's looking pretty good. He's actually moving too well. He is amazing. I mean, I went from really thinking it was his last day to I think he's going to do a full recovery, which is, thank God, amazing. But he's still right now we have to keep him calm, and tomorrow I have to take him to work with me because I got nobody that can watch him. I can't leave him alone. I got to make sure that he stays. We have him sedated basically. He looks high half the time when we give him the medicine that calms him down. And it's messing with his stomach a little bit, but he's walking. He walks kind of like he's drunk a little bit, but he's getting better every day. And I'm just very thankful that this didn't happen while I was at Midwest Gaming, which is coming up this week. So I've been trying to get ready for Midwest Gaming, but having to watch my dog, like a hawk, makes it kind of hard. I can't just have him following me around, and while I'm doing stuff, I have to make sure he's not trying to get up, he's not trying to jump on anything, he's not trying to walk as little as possible. So it's been tough, to be honest, and I didn't even know if I'd have time to do this podcast, but today is the first day. I record this podcast in my basement. I have a little room, a little streaming room, where I have a little game room, and I have my 3D printers down in the basement. Today's the first day I brought him down in the basement, and he is laying right here next to me in his bed, and he's quite calm at the moment. So I'm recording this while I'm looking at him right now. But to get ready for Midwest, I have to package up a bunch of my 3D prints, and I'm way behind on that. So tomorrow I plan on hopefully getting caught up. My wife is off, and she can keep an eye on him while I get everything together, so I can have everything ready and figure out how I'm going to Tetris everything in my vehicle to get up to Midwest Gaming, which is in Wisconsin. I know I talk about it every year. Midwest Gaming Classic in downtown Milwaukee. If you're going to go, come say hi. My booth, I'm kind of excited. I'm more towards the front, right in the middle this year. So kind of excited to see how the booth goes. Last year there were probably about 10 people that came up from VGO. It was nice to meet people in person that I've talked to on the Discord. Some that aren't in the Discord that just listen. That was nice too. Come up and say hi if you're going to be in town. I'll be there. It runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the vendor hall's only open Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to run into me, I'll be in the vendor hall Saturday and Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping. Jeez, I honestly was spending this much on my dog. I know, like $3,500 in the grand scheme of things, not a lot, but I'm hoping to kind of make up for it this weekend, and hopefully he pulls through and he makes a full recovery, and we never have to go through this again. But the good thing about having that MRI on him, to go back to that, is he was in perfect health, other than this injury. So getting an MRI on the dog was actually kind of neat, and it was kind of cool to see that he's, for his age, 11 years old, he's in absolutely perfect shape besides the back issue. But I'll be honest, man, it was tough because he's my little buddy, and it was such a range of emotions going from the worst of the worst, thinking that how am I going to tell my kids that this is probably it, and to he's probably going to make it. All within like 24 hours. So I honestly thought he when I tried to get him up in the morning and he was paralyzed, I didn't see him making it. But anyway, enough about my dog and getting ready for Midwest Gaming. I did play a few games recently. I played Assassin's Creed. The one that it's either the greatest game in the world or it's the worst game ever. And the reason I say that because I went on Metacritic and I was looking at the ratings. And let's go over to Metacritic and check out some of these ratings because I think they're funny. All right, so we're here, and I think now there have been some legitimately good, decent reviews come in, some legit reviews, I should say. But the good majority of them, for example, the positive, there's like 1.7 thousand positive. There's 221 mixed, and then 1.2 negative. So what's funny is like the first one says 8 and it's a legitimate review, but then there's a couple zeros, then there's a 10, then there's a 3, a 1, a 0, a 10, a 1, a 9, a 0, a 9, a 10, a 10, 0, 10, 1, 9. So they're either they're usually zeros or 10s. So it's like who depending on who reviewed it, it's the greatest game ever or the worst game ever, which is just hilarious to me. But anyway, so my review, it's Assassin's Creed. If you like Assassin's Creed, you're going to like it. If you didn't like the formula of Assassin's Creed, you're not going to like it. And I've never been a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I like Black Flag and I like Valhalla. And to be honest, the only reason I really like Valhalla because I love the Vikings. I was that Assassin's Creed came out at the perfect time, right as the Viking show was wrapping up. And I just kind of like that world. I do like samurai, so I love like ninjas and samurai world too. I love that. But as I was playing Assassin's Creed, like, and nobody should take my review. This is just my thoughts. Don't take my review personally or get mad because I don't like the game or whatever. I think it's a fine game. I think it's actually there's like different characters. Like the graphics are amazing, and the level of detail is really good. When you go up to a high platform and it zooms out, it's pretty awesome, pretty epic. There's things about it that are super high quality, and then there's things about it that are low quality. And graphics, just the presentation, everything is like top notch. There's definitely people at Ubisoft that have some serious skill with making the game. And you know what this game kind of reminded me of, even though that game is much better. Last of Us 2, technically Last of Us 2 is like a masterpiece, but the story-wise, I didn't like Last of Us 2. But technically, everything about that game was like super talented. I just didn't like the story. I thought the story sucked in Last of Us 2. Likewise, on this one, I think the story's just boring in it, and a lot of it too is just like busy work in Assassin's Creed. Like, I feel like I'm doing a bunch of boring stuff to get to a little bit of fun. And then you can go explore. It's open world, but realistically, you go in once you've done like one town where you go and you kill the top. You kill the people and you go loot the treasure. It's always in the same place. It's always the same enemies. They just have a different number assigned to them. So like if you get to a part where they're too high level for you, there's nothing you can do to them. You can't do any damage to them, and I just think it's kind of lame. And it gets kind of old and boring and just a little repetitive, even though I kind of like repetitive games. Sometimes, I play beat 'em ups and those are super repetitive. But I just felt like I was doing more busy work. I was doing, in my opinion, the games that annoy me the most are the ones where I feel like I got to do like 20 minutes of boring for like 10 minutes of fun. And the ratio of boring to fun should never be like that. Like I almost feel like in most games I should never feel like I'm doing something busy just to do it, and in this game I feel like I'm doing a bunch of tasks just to do them so I can level up to get to the next point where it would be like a little bit of fun but then more boring. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. If I had to give this, if I was reviewing it, it's okay. It's probably like a 7. That's about as high as I go. 7 on this game. It's okay. I'm not gonna finish it. I know I'm not gonna finish it. I did like playing Yasuke more than Naoe, because Naoe is like the ninja in it, and you sneak around and you try to be undetected, whereas Yasuke is he's like the Kool-Aid man. He can burst through walls and he's just a big old tank, and I like that. Like when I play like Diablo or something, I'm always like the barbarian. I'm always like, I like being the big brutes. I like, that's more my style. So I liked Yasuke way better than playing Naoe. Okay, well, that's enough of Assassin's Creed. So that was, if you want to let me know what you think of my thoughts on Assassin's Creed, hit me up in the Discord or on Twitter. But anyway, the other game that I played recently, it's a game called The Cursed Knight, and you can get it on Steam. I ended up getting it on itch.io. I think it was itch.io, because this game is essentially a Genesis game, and it's a new Genesis game. It came out, I think, a year or two ago, and for some reason I missed it. But I ended up, it was like $10 to download. I downloaded it. I copied it to an actual Genesis cartridge because I like making my own repros, and I made a label for it and everything. Now you can actually order a Genesis cartridge from them, but you know what? Let me look it up. Let me see what they charge. Okay, apparently I can't figure it out, but it looked like it was about $50. And I also found out there's actually a sequel to the game called The Cursed Legacy. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind the times, but this game, I saw it on a video on YouTube, and I started looking into it, and I was like, this is pretty sweet. I'm gonna download the ROM, and I'm just gonna pay them, and I'll put it on my own cartridge, and that's what I did. And if this game, if I had to describe it, if you've ever played Metal Storm on NES, it's got like the gravity of that, where you hit a button and you can reverse gravity from the top to the bottom of the screen. So it's got some really unique platforming ability like that. It's also like you got like a slide like in Mega Man. If you press down and jump, you slide. It's got a double jump. It's got a bunch of different not a bunch, but like 3 different weapons types. There's like a kind of one that kind of homes. There's like a 3-shot. There's a single shot. And the story's pretty simplistic. You're a knight for this like futuristic. It's kind of like in space, futuristic place, and this bad guy comes and he kills the princess, and you're going to avenge her death. So that's like the whole story of it. But like if this game had come out during the time Genesis and Super Nintendo was going back and forth, this game would have been like one of the top games. This would have been up there with your Turtles and your Contras and your your Sonics, if Mega Man's, if this would have came out back then. The graphics for a Genesis game are amazing. There's a lot of parallax scrolling. There's a lot of graphical effects that look like they shouldn't be able to be done on a Genesis, but they're doing them. And there's some levels where it's more like a shmup. You're flying through space, shooting things, and there's other ones that are a bunch of platforming. But there's like a lot of levels. They have these cool 3D effects that shouldn't be possible on a Genesis, but they are. And it's just a really good side-scrolling, platforming, shmup type of game. And I like the combat. I like the bosses that you fight. A lot of the bosses are like full screen, huge bosses that, that was kind of a rare thing back then to have these giant, full level bosses. And it looks like it's doing one thing Genesis couldn't do that Nintendo could. Super Nintendo had Mode 7, which was like a scaling and rotation technique. That wasn't a feature that the Genesis had, but through some software tricks, they could do it. And there's different difficulties too. And I think on the normal, I'm playing on the normal difficulty level. You get infinite lives on that one. I think that's like a good difficulty. I don't want to play where I only have so many levels, so many continues. I don't want to, I'm not one of those people that have to play on the harder levels. There's an insane where you only have one life, you die. And it's just, that's not for me, but if that's for you, this game has it. It uses a password system. So, you got to put in a password, to start where you left off, which is kind of neat. I mean, games nowadays, they don't have that. It was kind of annoying back in the day to do a password, but that's how they got around not having to have a battery in the cartridge. If you didn't know back then, that's how all those old games would save. They had a battery in them. So it was much cheaper to go with the password system, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. Plus, I'm playing like on my Retron 5, so I can save anywhere. I got save staves on my Retron, so my modern device will take care of that. But I can't recommend this game enough. If you're into old school Genesis, Super Nintendo style games, and it's on Steam. You can get it on Steam for it's $10. You can get it on itch.io like me. The reason I went with itch.io over Steam is because the Steam one, you do get the ROM, and you could just run it in a Genesis emulator if you want. But the ROM is set up for a PC, so in the menu it shows like a Xbox controller as the controller, whereas the one I got on itch.io was actually the Genesis ROM on there. So when I copied it to a Genesis cartridge, in the options it shows the Genesis cartridge, the controller options, and it does have like different 3-button and 6-button modes. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, if you're going to run in an emulator and use a Sega Genesis controller, you might want to go with the itch.io version. But yeah, I love old school games, and this was a nice little distraction from everything that's been going on in my life for like the last week. So when my dog was like sleeping on me, I would fire this up. I played it on my Retron 5. I also did put it on my my Analog Pocket, so I was playing it on there a little bit too. And it's nice to have that ROM and be able to put it anywhere you want. But anyway, enough of those two games. About the store. The store's doing fantastic. We're doing really good. There hasn't been really any shitty people lately, thank God. I'm gonna knock on wood when I say that. Tomorrow I'll probably get bombarded with them. I've had some people call. Like, a lot of people are getting annoyed that I won't buy their Series S's from them, and I don't buy the all digital. I do buy the PS5 digital ones, the slim ones that you can put disk drives on. Those are the ones, but I don't buy the older ones that are digital only. Other than that, I found out one of my competitors is, I'm not 100% sure if they're going out of business, but it's a place called Level Up, and they were our closest like mom and pop store that was to us. There was two of them, and they were each probably about 30 minutes away from us. And they had started their store probably about 4 or 5 years after we had started our store, so they've been in business probably like 15 years. They have been closed for like the last week, both locations. And if you go on the one Facebook page for that company, it sounds like the manager was trying to buy the one and reopen it. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. but as of right now, they've been closed for a week, which is not a good sign. So, kind of interesting. So I should probably, if they do close for good, I'll probably get even more business from people that are kind of like halfway in between. So we'll probably get a lot more customers. But it is sad to see a mom and pop shop go away. And you know what's weird? The one too, they had a GameStop in that town with them, and the GameStop got closed. So you would think they would have done a lot more business once GameStop got closed, but apparently not. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. I did that store though. That's a story. I got my best score ever from that store, the one in Tiffin, Ohio. They had an arcade machine, and I think I might have said this on one of my first podcasts that I ever did on here. But they had an arcade machine called Ninja Warriors, and this is a huge arcade machine, and it has 3 monitors in it, and it's just side-scrolling. You're like these robot ninjas, and it's a really rare arcade game, and they had posted it for free. They just wanted to get rid of it because it wasn't working, and they didn't know how to fix them or anything. So, I snagged it. I went up there and I snagged it. I drove immediately when I saw it, went and got it, was the first one there, took it home and opened it up, ran a few tests on it, determined that one of the fuses were blown in it, put a new fuse in it, and it fired up. And that was the only thing wrong with it. There was a bad fuse. Now, I did clean it up. I put like new T-molding on. I painted like some stuff. I cleaned it up quite a bit. I don't know, I maybe put like 3-4 hours of work into this thing, and I sold it for $2,000. A guy from Detroit came and bought it. It was going into a barcade up in Detroit, and I've never seen it since, but that is probably one of my greatest scores of all time. Got it for free, put a like 25-cent fuse in it, and I bought some new T-molding. I probably maybe put like $40-50 total into the whole thing. And made $2,000. So thank you, Level Up. I'm sorry if you guys aren't going to make it. I always hate to see, mom and pop stores don't make it, but I mean, that's the way it is. Business is business. I don't know what's going on with the owner's personal life or anything. Maybe they were doing just fine and he just it's time for him to get out. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like one of my, at least closest local competitor is going to be no more. But anyway, I think that's about all I got this week. Thank you everybody for listening. Thanks to John and Michelle for still putting me on their little network, and I'm out.